Maybe a year ago or so, I made an interview with the guru of craniosacral biodynamics, Etienne Pierceman. And I asked him what's the reason, what's the origin of the pain we have in our body, and what is his approach to it. How how does he cope with the situation when client comes with pain? You can check this video somewhere on my channel. But what he said, and what I definitely agree, is that the main reason is that we don't listen to our heart, that we don't follow our heart, that we don't fulfill our dreams, our soul mission, which actually comes through our heart. That's like the first and biggest reason why we are in some kind of imbalance of our system. And subsequently, there are mechanisms which follow, and uh, it creates what we know as pain or illness or whatever. But I definitely agree that when we live, when we are really able to live through our heart, from our heart, when we are able to live the life fully, then there is no reason for pain, for any disease to occur, because the pain, the disease is the information of the body, of the system, of the organism, that we are in some state, in some condition where we don't, when we are not balanced, when that there is some kind of underlying imbalance. And this is the symptom, the end point of the journey towards this imbalance. How the body is mm, actually informing us about this condition. And of course, we can live normal human life from our mind, doing stuff, living stereotypes, living our work, our family, everyday life. Nothing wrong about that. But deep inside, we all know that we just need something what really feeds our soul, our heart. And everyone has own form. Someone has sport, someone has art, someone has nature. It doesn't matter what it is. But we all know that when we do something what we truly enjoy, what we feel good about, then we are just happy in this world. And the thing is, we are not very used to do this full time. We have been taught that the life should look like the normal stereotype 9 to 5, then go home, spend some hours with your family, and wake up again the day after. And so many people do the work only because they need money. And I absolutely agree. I absolutely can understand that, because that's that has been my way also for almost the whole life. And I'm only slowly learning how to actually involve my dreams, or actually realize that I do have some dreams, and that to live in the best way what my heart really screams for is something what I didn't know it's that necessary. And the thing is, we have so much fear. We have so much fear to go for a free fall, to follow the heart, because there are no certainties. There is there is so much unknown in the space of heart. There is so much vulnerability. And we are used to have those securities in our life. When we control everything from our mind, we live our life in a controlled way. It can be nice and easy. But it also can be very shallow. And the deep truth, which doesn't really occupy the space in the brain, but it's deep down there in the heart and in the soul. That's definitely very uncertain, and it's something what needs a lot of courage. And I know this very well because I've been grown this way, that the important is what I know, the important is what I do, the important is what I think. But to create something which would be my own, that definitely wasn't the stuff I was taught. I was taught in the school and everywhere to learn and repeat and follow the rules. And they are not particularly healthy. The people who are artists, who are creative, they actually do feel much more this inner tendency to create from their own creativity, from their own heart, than the people who are used to live more in the brain space. And for us who are used to live in the brain space, it's much more difficult, I think, to switch to actually recognize that this is not the whole truth. The much bigger truth for us is our heart. We just don't listen to it. That's definitely the truth which Etienne had. And living our heart truth is actually something what I consider the highest priority in our life. That's something what we should be aiming for. That should be something what's the most important for us. And I agree it's very difficult in the society where we need to earn money and we don't really create space for consideration that we can earn money different way than the normal way, that we can actually firstly follow our heart and secondly earn money because of that. This realization is requires great courage which I'm only slowly gaining. And the thing is that we need to even realize that the first that's the first step, to realize that it's really important to follow the path of our heart. And with this realization we can slowly shift our reality. That doesn't It's impossible to do it overnight. It's impossible to do it in week or two. It just it's too deep in our subconscious that we usually don't even know that we are missing something. Only people who have been able to meditate or to have the experiences with some kind of expanded consciousness understand that a little bit more, that the stillness of the mind and the stillness and the silence is something what enables the presence to grow. And the presence is something where we just are, and we feel, and we know there is some bigger truth of our being which we are supposed to fulfill. That's our true reason to be here, to really listen, to observe what we truly are, what we truly want, and to live the dream. I had this idea that I need to figure out what it is. What is my dream? Everyone says, follow your dreams. And I just don't know what is my dream. And they say, just realize what you would like to do, even without being paid for it. If you can choose, if you can decide, without the fear of not having money, then that is what you want to do. That is your dream. But when I start thinking about that, like, I'm not able. It is so difficult to figure out what is the dream without the fear of not having enough. Because the fear is inscribed so deep in our subconscious that it doesn't allow us even to open the thought, open the theme, the topic. And so it was so many times when I touched this theme only on the surface, I realized, or I was trying to figure out what is the dream, and then I understood, okay, that's, yeah, I really like traveling, but how could I, how could I make a living with traveling? That doesn't make any sense. I need to stay in my job and do what I don't like that much. I admire everyone who is able to just say, well, I love doing that and I will do it, whatever. That's amazing. That's so amazing. And I bow myself in front of that person who is just able to decide for this highest priority. I admire that, and I know that is the highest priority, the living the dream of our heart. We who do not know how to do it yet, it's our task to learn, to follow the path. And follow the path means, let's just start calibrating, let's start centering our consciousness in our heart. That's what we need to do. We need to transfer the consciousness, the center of our awareness. We need to recenter it from the brain to the heart. Because if we don't do this, if we stay just in the mental construct and we try to figure out how to change that, we are actually using our thoughts, our brain capacity, our mental activity to stop the mental activity, and that doesn't work. We cannot do that. It's just changing one for another. And we need to create some environment. That means we need to focus on the task. We need to have this intention in our mind, but we need to stay still, stay balanced and silent, even though we have this intention. Because when we try to use the mind and to persuade ourselves, then we trigger our fears, and our fears are too strong. We need to bypass them. And we bypass them by realizing that they are not real. But they are real enough when we use our mind. In the mental space, they are absolutely rightful, and they are kings of that space. Our fears are unbeatable when we use their own weapons. We need to be more clever, and we need to go from the mind into the heart, into the true being, presence, body experience. So what I do, what I use, I've realized I have few tools. What can I use to access my heart? And one thing what we all have to act, to create, and to do something in this world are our hands. So what I do, I place my hands on my heart. Sometimes this way, sometimes I just kind of point inside. The second thing what I use is my breath. I direct the energy of the breath in the middle of the chest. It doesn't matter if there are lungs or not, if there is heart where I cannot breathe in, really, it doesn't matter. It's meant energetically. So I breathe in the center. I touch it, I connect the breath and the hand. And the third tool I have is my awareness. So I take those three tools and connect them all together in the body, in the heart. Sometimes I cannot get there because somehow the idea, the intention is not materialized enough for me. So what I do, I use my voice. That's another creative force in our body. So I use my voice, I do some affirmation. I say something to myself like to live the life from my heart as my highest priority. To live my life from my heart is my highest priority. I am courageous. I decide to fulfill my soul mission. I decide to fulfill the true purpose of my soul. I am the soul. I am non-different from creative force. I am non-different from the creator of all things. I am free. I am allowed to do whatever I want. I allow myself to find the courage to fulfill my own dreams. To live life from my heart. Is my highest priority. I am love. I love you. I love you, Mother Earth. Thank you. That is something what helps me to actually do it, to actually sink into the body, into the heart. It works instantaneously for me. When I use pure meditation, when I just sit, it doesn't work that well. But when I combine all those things, when I touch, when I breathe, when I focus my awareness, and when I talk to myself from the higher wisdom, but I have hard times to really follow But when I talk to myself those words, it creates something magical in me. And it creates a spaciousness and courage to look for the way. Like the first experience I had when I first time ever allowed myself to even think about it, that there could be some other way, was when a kin of mine asked this question: what would you do without the fear? And even though I think I don't have that much fear, I overcame a lot of my fears. I realized I don't fear actively, but on some deep level, deep inside in my subconscious, there is just something blocking me. There is something what doesn't allow me to think about it. And then I realize, okay, that is something what I need to change. That is something what's not healthy. But I didn't know what it is and how to deal with it. And it's quite some process to transform it, but I already know that I'm on the path and I'm learning every day and releasing my fears by just allowing myself to be open to the possibility that I can I can go a new direction, even though I don't know where does it lead, what will I do, or and it's not worth being angry about ourselves that we fell in this trap, because that's how the society is created, how the matrix, how the control mechanism of the power is maintained. That's something what we have been indoctrinated. So it's very difficult to get rid of it. It's rooted very deep inside our um, what is that? It's our emotional and mental construct. That's the thing, that our our life is not based really on the unconditional divine love, but we are disconnected from that with the construct which creates some kind of fear-based construct of love, which is not true, but it is our reality, and that is something what we are here to learn to change. So It's alright. It's what we have been taught and what we have been grown into. It's deep in our subconscious. So we need to first of all realize that there is something like that what just hinders us to open our heart to more fulfilled and unhappy life. I'm really grateful to the Launch You program, which allowed me to find a lot about myself through their system, through their best life blueprint, and all those applications where I was able to recognize myself more deeply and my values and my dreams, and to actually start changing something. I'm really grateful because it was a breakthrough for me. So thank you, Launch You, Stuart, and other guys. I'm I'm on some kind of creative path now. I I took the courage, and that is the most important thing. We can know everything. We can be highly spiritual. We can talk to the angels, but when we don't create in this reality, when we don't take really the courage to find out what we want, what we value, what would fulfill us, then it doesn't mean anything. I realized that the program of fear of lack, the fear of the fear connected with money, it's so intricate. It's it's so powerful. Probably 3 years ago, there were uh, mammals, two mammals and a wife of one, who they are like shamans of Kogi tribe, and they came to our place, and there was a little gathering. We talked about the wisdom of indigenous tribes of there, because if you don't know, Kogis, they are like the last or the oldest indigenous tribe on this planet, and they live in Colombia, and we are quite close to Colombia. We like Colombia. We have been there a couple of times, and so at a moment the universe just brought them to our place, to our little cottage in the forest, and it was really powerful gathering, and I am really grateful that that happened out of nowhere, but I'm really grateful. But what was very uh, scary, and not scary, it's just how the life works. We all knew that it's coming, that also the indigenous tribes are going to vanish or somehow transform in this modern era, in this world which we have here right now. What happened? um those three mamos, or those shamans of the indigenous tribe, they just they were on some kind of tour through Europe, and they were trying to gather some money to build, to construct some school there and stuff like that. But when they came from the jungle or from the Sierra Nevada mountains on the coast of Colombia, they came to Europe, and during their time here, they got the illness of money, which is ever present here in our society. That's just illness. Our relationship with the money is sick. Not that the money themselves are ill, but the relationship, or what's created, how it's used, it's it's not healthy. And sadly, and also just that's how it is, those Indians, they came and they got this illness, and they came back and they were just like crazy about money. They needed to get money, and they actually robbed the money they got, they they kind of earned during this tour in Europe, and they actually didn't construct the school. They stole it. That's so how the money works. It's very powerful, and the fear is the main controlling force. So when we are used to living in a fear of lack, which is artificially created, then we always rather follow the comfort of the stereotype of earning money while not doing exactly what we love, but because of the comfort itself of having covered what we need. So this is very strong influencer of our decisions. It's absolutely understandable, but it's something what's not really healthy, and that's something what we need to balance. We need to find what is our true desire, what is our true dream, what we really love, what we like to do, what we are happy about, what we are happy doing, and really balance that. It doesn't matter that everyone suddenly has to start living their dreams. It would be perfect, but it's not the way how we are able to do it. I don't think we are able to do it this way, but we need to actually understand this is some topic, and that we should be actually taking it in account, and considering that there is some soul in us, that I think we all feel it, that there is the spirit, the essence inside us, which wants something more, which wants to live, which wants to be free. That's what we just feel. That's I'm sure that everyone has this somewhere deep inside. Someone has it more open, more surfaced. Someone doesn't doesn't really care. But that is something what's our nature, I'm sure. To be the free spirit, to be the creator of own reality, be the fulfiller of own potential. That is something what we just want and know. And it's the wisdom of our eternal soul, eternal self, our divine spark, which shines deep there in the body, in the heart. And let's nurture this spark. Thank you. Bye.